It is 9 months before the children are born. Mallory lives with her sister, Shannon, in a modest rental neither of them has decorated. They moved in 3 weeks ago, despite their friends' concerns. Mallory and Shannon are both popular, intelligent women, but in each other's company they have a tendency to become unglued, as shown the very day they carried their boxes inside. "I was thinking it makes more sense for me to have the bigger bedroom," Shannon said, standing on the second floor landing. "Seeing as I've got the bigger dresser?" "Oh, come on," Mallory responded, holding a milk crate of unread books. "That room has a better window." The sisters debated this for a long time, both wary of proving their friends and family right, by erupting in an argument on their first afternoon. Eventually, Mallory agreed to a coin toss, which ended in Shannon's favor, an event Mallory still believes was somehow fixed. Now, today, Mallory is not thinking about the little things her sister does that drive her batty. She is not quietly cleaning up after Shannon, closing cabinet doors, following her trail of sweaters and socks through the halls. She is not huffing, passively, shaking her head as she runs the dishwasher or slides one of Shannon's unpacked boxes from the center of the living room, where it's in both of their way. Instead, she is standing before the mirror in the first floor bathroom, where she is naked, as she studies her belly in the glass. "You've missed a period before," she tells herself. But this is hardly consolation, because she has been anxious for weeks now, knowing she should have been safer with Henry Martin. Her black hair hangs to her shoulders. Her lips curl down in a curious frown. She places her hands on her flat belly and nods slowly. No matter how she explains herself, she feels pregnant. "Mallory," Shannon calls from the living room. "What are you doing in there?" Mallory does not respond. She turns sideways and tilts her head. Her blue eyes look gray in the pale light of the bathroom. She plants a palm on the sink's pink linoleum and arches her back. She is trying to make her belly skinnier, as if this might prove there could be no little life within it. "Mallory," Shannon calls again. There's another report on television. Something happened in Alaska. Mallory hears her sister, but what's going on in the outside world doesn't matter much to her right now. In recent days, the internet has blown up with a story people are calling the Russia Report. In it, a man who was riding in the passenger seat of a truck driving along a snowy highway outside St. Petersburg asked his friend, who was driving, to pull over and then attacked him, removing his lips with his fingernails. Then he took his own life in the snow, using a table saw from the truck bed. A grisly story, but one whose notoriety Mallory attributes to the seemingly senseless way the internet has of making random occurrences famous. But then, a second story appeared. Similar circumstances. This time in Yakutsk, some 5,000 miles east of St. Petersburg. There, a mother, by all accounts, stable, buried her children alive in the family's garden before taking her own life with the jagged edges of broken dishes. And a third story, in Imsk, Russia, nearly 2,000 miles southeast of St. Petersburg, sprouted online and quickly became one of the most discussed topics on all social media sites. This time there was video footage. For as long as she could, Mallory had watched a man wielding an axe, his beard red with blood, trying to attack the unseen man who filmed him. Eventually, he succeeded. But Mallory didn't see that part. She tried not to follow any more on the subject at all. But Shannon, always more dramatic, insisted on relaying the frightening news. "Alaska?" Shannon repeats, through the bathroom door. "That's America, Mallory." Shannon's blonde hair betrays their mother's Finnish roots. Mallory looks more like her father, strong, deep-set eyes, and the smooth fair skin of a northerner. Having been raised in the Upper Peninsula, both dreamed of living downstate, near Detroit, where they imagined there were parties, concerts, job opportunities, and men in abundance. This last item hadn't proved fruitful for Mallory until she met Henry Martin. "Holy shit," Shannon hollers. "There might have been something in Canada, too. This is serious stuff, Mallory. What are you doing in there?" Mallory turns the faucet on and lets the cool water run over her fingers. She splashes some on her face. Looking up into the mirror, she thinks of her parents, still in the Upper Peninsula. They haven't heard of Henry Martin. She hasn't even spoken to him since their one night. Yet, here she is, probably tied to him forever. Suddenly the bathroom door opens. Mallory reaches for a towel. "Geez, Shannon. Did you hear me, Mallory? The story is everywhere. People are starting to say it's related to seeing something. Isn't that strange? I just heard CNN say it's the one constant in all the incidents. That the victims saw something before attacking people and taking their own lives. Can you believe this? Can you? Mallory turns slowly to her sister. Her face carries no expression. Hey, are you alright, Mallory? You don't look so good. Mallory starts crying. She bites her lower lip. She has grabbed the towel but has yet to cover herself. She is still standing before the mirror as if examining her naked belly. Shannon notices this. Oh shit. Shannon says, "Are you worried that you're..." Mallory is already nodding. The sisters step to each other in the pink bathroom and Shannon holds Mallory, patting the back of her black hair, soothing her. "Okay," she says. "Let's not freak out. Let's go get a test. That's what people do, okay? Don't worry. I'll bet you more than half the people who get tests wind up not being pregnant." Mallory doesn't respond. She only sighs deeply. "Okay," Shannon says. "Let's go." How far can a person hear? Rowing blindfolded is even harder than Mallory had imagined. Many times already, the rowboat has run into the banks and gotten stuck for a period of several minutes. In that time she was besieged by visions of unseen hands reaching for the blindfolds that cover the children's eyes. Fingers coming up and out of the water, from the mud where the river meets the earth. The children did not scream, they did not whine. They are too patient for that. But how far can a person hear? The boy helped get the boat loose, standing and pushing against a mossy trunk, and now Mallory paddles again. Despite these early setbacks, Mallory can feel they are making progress. It is invigorating. Birds sing in the trees now that the sun has come up. Animals roam amid the thick foliage of the woods that surround them. Fish jump out of the water, making small splashes that electrify Mallory's nerves. All of this is heard, none of it is seen. From birth the children have been trained to understand the sounds of the forest. As babies, Mallory would tie t-shirts over their eyes and carry them to the edge of the woods. There, despite knowing they were too young to understand any of what she told them, she would describe the sounds of the forest. Leaves crinkling, she would say, a small animal, like a rabbit, always aware that it could be something much worse even than a bear. In those days, and the days that followed, when the children were old enough to learn, Mallory trained herself as she trained them. But she would never hear as well as they one day would. She was 24 years old before she was able to discern the difference between a raindrop and a tap on a window, relying only on her hearing. She was raised on sight. Did this then make her the wrong teacher? When she carried leaves inside and had the children, blindfolded, identify the difference between her stepping on one and crushing one in her hand? Were these the right lessons to give? How far can a person hear? The boy likes fish, she knows. Often Mallory caught one in the river, using a rusted fishing pole fashioned from an umbrella found in the cellar. The boy enjoyed watching them splash in the well bucket in the kitchen. He took to drawing them, too. Mallory remembers thinking she'd have to catch every beast on the planet and bring it home for the children to know what they looked like. What else might they like if given the chance to view it? What would the girl think of a fox? A raccoon? Even cars were a myth, with only Mallory's amateur drawings as reference. Boots, bushes, gardens, storefronts, buildings, streets, and stars. Why, she would have had to recreate the globe for them. But the best they got was fish, and the boy loved them. Now, on the river, hearing another small splash, she worries lest his curiosity inspire him to remove his fold. How far can a person hear? Mallory needs the children to hear into the trees, into the wind, into the dirt banks that lead to an entire world of the living creatures. The river is an amphitheater, Mallory muses, paddling. But it's also a grave. The children must listen. Mallory cannot stave off the visions of hands emerging from the darkness, clutching the heads of the children, deliberately untying that which protects them. Breathing hard and sweating, Mallory prays a person can hear all the way to safety.